Welcome to Stuff That We Like / Enjoy, at least at this point in time. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Christina.
And we're the Castanettas. And today we're talking about something Christina likes / enjoys. So dive in, baby.
All right. Something I like / enjoy is the topic of who was Harry Houdini?
Oh, cool.
Very random. Do you know who Harry Houdini was or anything about him?
He was an escape artist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you have any idea of what time in history he lived?
40s?
He was born in 1874.
Wow.
So I thought that he was like popular in the 40s or 50s, but actually a little bit earlier than that. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about who Harry Houdini was and pop in with your thoughts or interests. So
okay,
kind of a short topic, but thought it was interesting.
Great.
So Harry Houdini is most known, kind of as you mentioned, for being a escape artist. He was also a magician who did crazy feats and then died at an early age. And that's about all that people know about him. But there's so much more to learn about Harry Houdini. So I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
So first off, Harry Houdini was actually a stage name. The man we know as Harry Houdini was actually born Eric Weiss on March 24th, 1874 in Budapest, Hungary. Which is kind of wild because I did several missions trips with a guy named Eric Weiss. And it's spelled exactly the same.
W-I-E-S-E?
W-E-I-S-Z.
What the?
Yeah, I even looked it up.
Isn't it Weiss?
Probably Weiss.
Okay.
Weiss, something like that. But I looked it up. I'm like, surely it's not spelled the same. I'm like, whoa, maybe he's Hungarian.
Reborn.
Yeah, so he was born Eric Weiss in Hungary. And for the sake of clarity, I'll just refer to him as Harry Houdini for the rest of this article because it's like,
I would not
who's
understand.
this Eric guy?
Yeah.
So he was born into a Jewish family in Hungary, the son of Mayor Samuel Weiss and Cecilia Steiner. In 1878, when he was 4 years old, his family immigrated to the United States, where his father was a rabbi. And they, not much is really known about their family other than that they struggled financially, and he had 6 siblings.
Okay.
So as a child, he showed an early knack for physical feats and competed in swimming and trapeze acts, which is kind of wild. I don't know why I just don't think of there being circuses or trapeze acts
Right.
150 years ago, but there was. So this little Jewish boy moves to the U.S. and is in New York doing trapeze acts. By the age of 9, he started performing as a trapeze artist, and his act was billed as Eric, the Prince of the Air. Which usually is like, we think of like in Christianity as like
it's a demon.
An evil spirit.
So, yeah, it's a large evil spirit.
He also worked odd jobs like selling newspapers and shining shoes to help support his family. His interest in magic tricks sparked after seeing a performance by Dr. Lin, who was a traveling magician, and he began practicing card tricks and small illusions. In 1894, at the age of 20, Harry married Wilhelmina Beatrice Bess Rainier. And she went by Bess, which I think is probably better than Wilhelmina. And their partnership became a central part of his life and career. Bess performed alongside Houdini early on as parts of his act. So she became the stagehand, and they never had any children. Harry's career really started taking off in the 1890s when he was in his late 20s, as he transitioned from small-time circus acts and dime museum shows to becoming a world-renowned escape artist. So he really honed in on the escape artist part, which is, as you mentioned, what he's kind of known for. And at that time, he adopted the stage name Harry Houdini, which was inspired by a French magician who was named Jean Houdin. He initially performed with his brother Theo as the Brothers Houdini. That's the name of their act.
That's cool.
Where he developed a repertoire of daring escapes. And his big break came in 1899 at the age of 25 when he met his manager, Martin Beck, who booked him for vaudeville circuits. So he kind of got on just, the performing arts circuits. I couldn't really find much more about what vaudeville circuits were. I think they're kind of a circus acts kind of a thing.
Is it vaudeville?
Yeah.
Vaudeville. Okay.
Vaudeville. Oh, there's no A in there.
Vaudeville.
Yeah. His signature acts included escaping from handcuffs, straitjackets, locked boxes, and water-filled tanks, often performed in full view of audiences to prove that there was no trickery involved. His milk can escape and the Chinese water torture cell act became his most iconic acts.
Whoa.
Want to hear about him?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, first off, the whole, like, he'd escape from straitjackets or like be hung upside down and stuff. And I remember like playing with my friends, Libby and Abby and my brother Josh, and we would like tie each other up and be like, we're going to be like Harry Houdini and escape from a straitjacket.
Really?
But I never wanted to be tied up. We would tie up like
It's your
Libby and
nightmare.
Josh, but I was like, no, I will be the one who ties you up, but you cannot put me in a straitjacket. That sounds terrifying. Like I did it once or twice and got very claustrophobic. So the milk can escape involved Houdini being locked inside a large steel milk can used by dairy farmers. It was about 3.5 feet tall. And the can was filled with water, leaving minimal airspace, and then sealed with a lid that was secured by multiple padlocks, like 6 or more. This setup was designed to create intense suspense as the audience knew Houdini had to escape before running out of this very small amount of air. And he was known to have a good control of his breath. He could hold his breath for like 3 minutes. So that helped. But to heighten the drama, the can was then placed inside like a wooden crate, and that crate was then locked, and then there was a curtain drawn across the stage to conceal the escape process. Although Houdini let like the audience members come up to inspect everything beforehand to prove that it was real. But people kind of hypothesized that there was just like the locks were like had an easy button you could hit, and like the steel can had a little lever that would pop the lid off. Thus, the why it was always behind a curtain. And then the Chinese water torture cell act was very similar, except for that he was placed in a glass-filled tank of water, and then his legs were shackled to the floor of the tank, and then the entire tank was flipped upside down. And he would escape while hanging upside down in water.
That's cool.
But that also was then pulled behind a curtain. So,
man, Harry,
who knows?
I don't know about you anymore, Mr. Wise.
He also starred in silent films, wrote books on how to do magic acts, and he was really big at challenging spiritualists, like fraudulent people who like told fortunes or were mediums, to expose their scams with his knowledge of illusion. So like he knew how you could kind of trick somebody's perception. Therefore, he was kind of on a mission to expose people who could act like they were talking to somebody's dead loved one.
Yeah.
So he was very skeptical of spiritualism, which was very popular, I guess, in the early 1900s. And he did not believe that you could communicate with the dead. So he would attend seances undercover to debunk mediums. And he was driven by a desire to protect grieving people from being defrauded and continuing going back to these mediums so they could talk to their dead father or wife. He famously offered a $10,000 reward for any medium who could prove they had actual supernatural abilities, and nobody could ever do it.
Wow.
Yeah. His fame continued to extend globally, so it kind of became a worldwide name, performing for royalty across the world in massive crowds, and over time he earned the title of the world's greatest escape artist, which is why we know about him, I guess, 150 years later. And now to his death. So Harry enjoyed a longer career than I realized before he died. I thought he died at a rather young age, and he died at 52, which is still young, but I thought he was in his 20s or something. On October 31st, Halloween night, 1936, in Detroit, Michigan. And the official cause of his death was, do you know what it was?
No.
A ruptured appendix.
He used to let people punch him in the stomach, didn't he?
Exactly. So they're pretty sure that this is what happened. It's not 100% verified because it happened 100 years ago. But a widely circulated story claims that a week prior to his death, Houdini, who is known for boasting in his ability to withstand punches to the stomach, was punched multiple times by a local university student named J. Gordon Whitehead, while Harry was in his dressing room preparing for a show on October 22nd. So he got punched multiple times. So I'm like, that probably did not help the issue.
Yeah.
The punches allegedly caused or exasperated existing issues to his appendix, though medical historians debate whether like the punches led directly to the rupture. Like that's not fully how appendixes rupture. Usually you have an infection. But he continued his performance that night despite being in severe pain. and delayed medical treatment until his appendix had fully ruptured, unfortunately. He collapsed on stage during his act and died days later in the hospital with his wife, Bess, by his side.
Bess Wise.
Bess Weiss. And that is the story of who was Harry Houdini.
Love it.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Any thoughts?
No, it's pretty late, so we got to keep moving.
Okay, sounds good.